Before we begin, I want you to take a moment and subscribe to the channel because what you're about to hear could be a story you tell your friends and family, a connection between history, everyday life, and a coin that most people walked right past for years without a second thought. Today, I want us to slow down together and look closely at a coin that many people don't realize has a story worth hearing. A coin that seems ordinary at first glance but gains power the more you understand it. I'm talking about the Turkey 5 Kurus coin from 2013. It's small, it's simple, it's a coin you may have handled while paying for something or saved in a jar somewhere at home, just as many men in their 50s, 60s, and older have done throughout their lives, saving spare change, understanding the value of honest money, and respecting every piece of metal that carried value in someone's pocket. In 2013, Turkey was going through its own chapter in history. This was a country balanced between deep cultural roots and rapid change. Coins like the 5 Kurus weren't made for collectors. They were made to be used, to be spent, to pass from hand to hand. And that's exactly why finding a well-preserved example today is so interesting. Most coins that circulate heavily end up worn, scratched, dented, and that tells a human story. But for collectors and people who appreciate subtle beauty, when a coin survives with its details sharp and its surfaces clean, it becomes something more than a piece of money. It becomes a preserved moment in time. This coin from Turkey is made from common base metals, and at the value of 5 Kurus, it was always a small denomination. If you think about what that meant to people in daily life, you begin to see its quiet importance. It was part of everyday transactions, a coin that put sugar in the cart, that paid for a bus ride, that sat in the tray of a toolbox or the bottom of a drawer. And in a world that moves fast, these simple coins carry a slower, more human rhythm. Experienced collectors will tell you that condition is everything. A coin kept carefully, untouched, might show its original luster decades later, while another from the same year, spent and scraped, simply fades away. For men who have spent years noticing details in tools, watches, cars, machinery, and other objects, this is not a foreign concept. You know that patience, care, and preservation matter. When you hold a well-preserved 2013 5 Kurus coin from Turkey, you don't just see a denomination, you see a history. You see a culture where everyday life was experienced in physical currency. You see a moment when people weren't tapping phones or cards, but actually handing coins from one palm to another. Some of you remember that feeling well, the weight, the sound, the texture. It reminds you of times when money was a tangible part of life, not just numbers on a screen. And that's where curiosity begins. There's more to this coin than the year and the denomination. There are variations in minting quality, slight differences in how coins were struck, how the edges were finished, and how the surface aged. To the casual eye, they might all look the same. To an experienced eye, sharpness of detail and quality of strike can make all the difference. Collectors often look for what they call uncirculated coins. These are coins that left the mint and somehow avoided heavy use. They didn't get dinged by keys, slid across countertops, or crushed at the bottom of pockets. Those examples, especially from a year like 2013, when world coin collecting was growing but not overwhelming, become quietly sought after. But there's also an emotional side, and this is something that resonates deeply with many men in the 55 to 65 plus age range. These coins remind us of the value of consistency and the power of recognizing worth before the crowd sees it. You've lived long enough to understand that good things don't scream for attention. They earn it with time. This Turkey 5 Kurus coin from 2013 comes from a period where cash was still a primary part of life for millions of people. That means there were millions of these coins made. Most of them did their job, got worn, and were eventually retired. But a handful were kept, unnoticed, tucked away by someone who just liked the way it looked, or maybe saved by someone who didn't realize they were making a small piece of history. As years pass, those untouched examples become rarer. The coins that survived in pristine condition are now quietly rising in interest among collectors who look beyond gold and silver who look at everyday currency and see a story. Because a coin's journey tells us about the world around it, the economy, the culture, the way people lived. Some coins from everyday issues become highly collectible because of a mistake in the minting process. A misalignment, a double strike, a missing element. And suddenly a coin that was once ordinary becomes extraordinary. While not every Turkey 5 Kurus coin from 2013 has such an error, the very existence of high-grade, beautifully preserved pieces has captured attention. For many men who have lived through decades of change, their satisfaction in realizing that something as simple as spare change can become an object of lasting value. It's a reminder that small, steady decisions matter. Saving, preserving, paying attention. These are traits that serve you in life, and they serve you in collecting, too. And the story doesn't stop at simple nostalgia. There is real interest in coins like this, especially when examples are in superb condition or exhibit rare characteristics. Collectors are not just chasing age or precious metals. They're chasing stories, scarcity, and pieces that reflect a human life in metal form. So when you hear about coins that were once ordinary becoming valuable, remember that it's never about instant change. It's about time, preservation, and perspective. It's about appreciating the small things that outlive their original purpose and become windows into a moment that has passed. If you have this coin, take a moment to look closely at it. Notice the edges, the design elements, how well the details stand. Think about where it might have traveled, what hands it passed through, and how it survived. That alone connects you deeply with the history it represents. In decades to come, the narrative around coins like this will only become richer. People will look back and see the world of 2013, not as a blur, but through the coins that survived with dignity. They will see the quiet stories of ordinary life, preserved in metal. And for those who recognize value before it becomes obvious, there are moments worth remembering. So remember this. The Turkey 5 Kurus coin from 2013 has a story that goes beyond its face value. It is a reminder of patience, of care, and of the meaningful connections between everyday life and history. And when people talk about extraordinary valuations within the collector world, rare top-condition examples of this coin are discussed at values reaching as high as $850,000.